Gaston's skull eyes. Beauty and the Beast hides a fleeting but chilling detail in Gaston's eyes as he falls to his death. In Disney's Beauty and the Beast, released in 1991, Gaston attacks the Beast on the castle rooftop in the climactic battle. As Gaston loses his footing and falls, a single shot shows his pupils briefly replaced by tiny skull shapes. This detail was removed from early home video releases, but has been restored in later Blu-ray editions. The skull imagery visually confirms Gaston's death, eliminating ambiguity for the audience. The skulls serve to clearly signal his doomed fate. Fans frequently cite this as one of Disney Animation's creepiest blink-and-you-miss-it shots. This detail shows how animators use a single frame to underline a villain's death in a way that bypasses dialogue entirely. It also demonstrates how older Disney films were sometimes more explicit about mortality than their cheerful marketing suggests. Scar rug. In Hercules, Scar from The Lion King makes a disturbingly literal comeback as a lion skin rug. The Easter egg appears in Disney's Hercules, released in 1997, during a scene where Hercules poses for a painting while wearing a lion's pelt. The lion rug clearly resembles Scar from The Lion King, which came out in 1994, right down to the dark mane and facial features. In The Lion King, Zazu jokes that Scar would make a handsome throw rug, and this later scene pays off that line in grim fashion. The implication is that Scar has been killed, skinned, and repurposed as a prop, turning a comedic line into a dark visual gag. Disney has not framed this as canon plot, but it is a deliberate visual reference confirmed in multiple Easter egg lists and analyses. This Easter egg shows how Disney sometimes follows through on dark jokes across films, turning a throwaway line into a morbid visual punchline. It also signals the studio's tradition of cross-referencing its own villains in ways that adults notice more than kids. The Rescuer's photo. A background shot in The Rescuers once contained a real, explicit photo that had to be removed. In Disney's animated film The Rescuers, released in 1977, a background window in one scene contained a small photo of a topless woman, reportedly a live-action image inserted into the artwork. The image appears in frames as the albatross Orville flies past a city building. The inclusion went unnoticed by most viewers during theatrical runs, but was discovered years later when home video allowed frame-by-frame viewing. In 1999, Disney issued a recall of 3.4 million VHS tapes to remove the offending frames. The company stated the image had been added during post-production and was not caught in review. This incident is one of Disney's most infamous adult content Easter eggs, accidentally or mischievously inserted into a children's movie. It highlights how a few frames can cause a major corporate headache once fans start scrutinizing every pixel. Skinned Sulley Gag. Toy Story hides a very dark nod to a line about humans skinning monsters in Monsters, Inc. In Monsters, Inc., released in 2001, character Randall warns about humans skinning monsters and making toilet covers out of their fur, playing into monster fears about humans. In the Toy Story short film Partysaurus Rex, released in 2012, a furry blue and purple toilet seat cover appears in Bonnie's bathroom, strongly resembling Sully's color pattern. The resemblance has been highlighted by multiple Easter egg roundups as a deliberate visual callback. The implication is that a bathroom accessory exists using fur that looks exactly like Sully's, echoing that grim warning. This crossover is especially dark considering the otherwise playful tone of both franchises. Pixar has not explicitly confirmed the gag as literal Sully canon, but the design similarity is unmistakable in side-by-side comparisons. The gag flips a monster urban legend on its head by showing the monster's worst fear made visually real in another Pixar film. It's a case where a cute bathroom prop becomes grim once you notice the dialogue connection. Jack's Shadow Army. Jack Skellington from The Nightmare Before Christmas makes dark cameo appearances across multiple Disney films. Jack Skellington's skull appears as a shadow summoned by villain Dr. Facilier in The Princess and the Frog, released in 2009. During the Friends on the Other Side voodoo sequence, Jack appears among the evil spirits Facilier conjures. In Finding Nemo, released in 2003, Jack's skull floats in a bubble near Gil's head during Nemo's initiation scene. Jack appears as undead Captain Skellington leading skeleton pirates in James and the Giant Peach, released in 1996. The Mad Hatter's bow tie in Alice in Wonderland, released in 2010, features Jack's skull pattern. These cameos associate Jack Skellington, a literal skeleton, with death imagery, voodoo spirits, and nightmare sequences across multiple films. The darkest is his appearance among Dr. Facilier's evil shadows, suggesting Jack exists among malevolent spirits on the other side. It transforms a beloved Halloween character into a recurring death omen. Dining on Nemo. One Disney Easter egg implies that Nemo ends up as food in a completely different movie. In the animated film Brother Bear, released in 2003, a fish on a drying rack resembles clownfish Nemo from Finding Nemo, also released in 2003. The fish's orange and white stripes and placement have led fans to identify it as a dark cameo of Nemo being eaten. Lists of creepy Disney Easter eggs highlight this as a morbid background joke. This Easter egg takes a beloved character and reimagines him as someone else's dinner, subverting the comforting ending of his own film. Shining carpet horror. Toy Story hides repeated homages to Stanley Kubrick's horror masterpiece, The Shining. In Toy Story, released in 1995, Sid's house features carpet with hexagonal patterns matching the Overlook Hotel carpet from The Shining, released in 1980. Director Lee Unkrich is a massive fan of The Shining and included references throughout the Toy Story trilogy. Toy Story 3, released in 2010, contains 3 references to Room 237, the infamous haunted room from The Shining. A security camera at Sunnyside Daycare has model number Overlook R237. The garbage truck has license plate RM237. A character named Velocistar 237 appears in Bonnie's house. Andy's bed covers feature stars and space imagery matching Danny's Apollo 11 sweater from The Shining. The hexagonal carpet pattern appears when Buzz attempts his doomed flight from the stair railing. These Easter eggs connect a children's film to one of cinema's most terrifying horror movies. The Room 237 references are especially dark, given that room features disturbing imagery, including a decomposing woman in a bathtub. It demonstrates how animators hide adult references that sail over children's heads. Alien Facehugger. Wreck-It Ralph hides a terrifying homage to the R-rated horror classic Alien. In Wreck-It Ralph, released in 2012, Ralph enters the hero's duty game and finds a room full of eggs resembling those from Alien, released in 1979. When Ralph steps on an egg, it hatches a cybug that immediately attacks his face. The scene directly references Alien's facehugger creatures that burst from eggs and attach to victims' faces. The entire cybug sequence mirrors Alien's horror, with eggs in dark rooms, creatures bursting out, and face attacks. Cybugs take on characteristics of what they eat, just like Alien's xenomorphs. One cybug eats a weapon and morphs its limbs into rifles, similar to alien creature evolution. The reference brings R-rated body horror into a kids' movie. This Easter egg references one of cinema's most disturbing creatures, the chest-bursting, face-hugging xenomorph from Alien. The film literally shows a creature attacking Ralph's face, in a direct homage to Alien's most iconic horror moment. It demonstrates how Disney can smuggle R-rated horror imagery into family films through gaming contexts. Naughty graffiti gags. Disney films occasionally hide risque jokes in graffiti and background text that only adults catch. In Who Framed Roger Rabbit, released in 1988, a bathroom wall behind Eddie Valiant contains graffiti that reads, "For a good time, call Alice in Wonderland. The best is yet to be." The phrase plays on Alice in Wonderland and the structure of a suggestive call girl advertisement. The scene appears briefly and is easy to miss without pausing. This is one of several adult-leaning jokes tucked into the film, which already skews older than typical Disney animation. Lists of naughty Disney Easter eggs often include this bathroom gag, alongside other suggestive background details. These jokes reveal how animators sometimes write directly to the adults in the audience, trusting that children won't decode the subtext. They also show the thin line between clever wordplay and jokes that parents might find inappropriate. By the way, if you're enjoying this so far, I make videos like this all the time. Subscribing would really help out. Sadistic Sid's fate. Sid from Toy Story reappears years later in a job that makes his childhood behavior extra creepy. In Toy Story, released in 1995, Sid is the neighbor kid who gleefully dismembers and reassembles toys for fun. In Toy Story 3, released in 2010, a garbage man wearing Sid's skull t-shirt and similar features appears briefly collecting trash. Fans widely accept this character as an older Sid, now working as a trash collector. Some viewers see irony in Sid spending his adult life hauling away other people's discarded toys. Darker interpretations note that Sid is still surrounded by objects he once enjoyed destroying, only on a larger scale. This Easter egg turns a minor villain into a tragic, darkly comic adult figure. It invites viewers to imagine how childhood obsessions can echo into mundane adult life. Olaf pieces in Moana. Moana hides what looks like the disassembled parts of Olaf from Frozen. In Moana, released in 2016, a shot of Moana's boat supplies includes a carrot and a stick shaped like a branchy arm. Fans interpret this as an Easter egg suggesting the ingredients of Olaf, the snowman from Frozen, which came out in 2013. The items are tucked among other gear and only noticeable if viewers pause or rewatch. The gag is darkly funny when you imagine Moana unknowingly carrying around parts of a melted snowman. Pizza Planet Apocalypse. A background detail suggests that the Pizza Planet truck may have survived into a post-apocalyptic future. The Pizza Planet truck is a recurring Pixar Easter egg appearing in multiple films. In WALL-E, released in 2008, a rusted, abandoned truck closely resembling the Pizza Planet vehicle appears among junk on Earth. Some analyses label this notion Pizza Planet Apocalypse, imagining that the same truck has endured long enough to rot in a desolate future. The vehicle's distinctive rocket and color scheme make the reference clear. The implication is that a bit of the lighthearted Toy Story world persists into the grim, trash-covered setting of WALL-E. This Easter egg turns a running gag vehicle into a reminder of how far the world has fallen by the time of WALL-E. Spinning Wheel Curse. Rapunzel's tower in Tangled contains a dangerous artifact from another cursed princess. In Tangled, released in 2010, a spinning wheel resembling the one from Sleeping Beauty, released in 1959, appears among Rapunzel's possessions. A spinning wheel, similar to the one Maleficent used to curse Aurora, appears in Rapunzel's tower. This is the type of cursed object that put Aurora into a death-like sleep. The tower also contains other Disney princess artifacts, including Snow White's apple, Beauty and the Beast's rose, Cinderella's slipper, and the Little Mermaid's seashell. According to fans, the spinning wheel Easter egg hints that both Rapunzel and Aurora were trapped by witches. Rapunzel's captor, Mother Gothel, and Sleeping Beauty's villain, Maleficent, are both powerful sorceresses. The spinning wheel's presence suggests a possible connection between the two Disney villains. This Easter egg places a cursed, death-dealing artifact in a children's movie tower. The spinning wheel represents one of Disney's darkest plot devices, an object designed to kill a princess. Finding it casually sitting in Rapunzel's collection creates an ominous implication about what other dangerous magical items might be hidden there. Haunted Muses. In Hercules, the lively singing Muses become eerier the closer you look at their stone forms. Hercules, released in 1997, features 5 Muses who narrate and comment on the story through gospel-inspired songs. In several transitions, they appear as animated figures on urns and statues before coming to life. A dark Easter egg framing in some breakdowns refers to haunted Muses, highlighting shots where their frozen stone faces look more ghostly than cheerful. The designs echo funerary art and grave markers from ancient Greece, tying them to death imagery. The combination of upbeat music and tomb-like visuals creates a subtle tonal clash that can feel uncanny. This entry explores how even ostensibly fun storyteller characters are rooted in iconography associated with death and memorialization. Sully's Witch Carving. A carved image in Brave suggests monsters traveled through time to terrorize medieval Scotland. In Brave, released in 2012, Sully from Monsters, Inc. appears carved into wood in the witch's cottage. The carving shows Sully's distinctive face and horns on a piece of wood. According to the Pixar theory, this connects to the idea that Monster Inc. doors transcend time and space. Fans suggest Sully may have visited 10th century Scotland through monster closet doors. The witch's cottage contains other Pixar Easter eggs, including a Pizza Planet truck carving. The carving implies a terrifying monster from the future somehow reached medieval Scotland. It's darkly funny that a witch has evidence of encountering Sully, turning him from friendly character to potential historical terror. If this was worth your time, consider subscribing so you catch every new upload. Thanks for watching.